Hi, this is Roy Schilling with Praiseon Media, my great friend here, Phil Ackenwell. And Phil, how are you doing today? Things going well for you?
I'm doing quite good, Roy. I can't complain. How
Awesome.
about you?
I'm doing very, very well. I think we've got a good topic that we're going to talk about today, aren't we?
Seems like it.
Yeah.
So the world of what should I call it? Allying alliances?
Alliances. I like that. I like that.
No,
The alliance.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
We did do a previous one on the Agile Alliance. It's only fair to do one on the Scrum Alliance,
Scrum
right?
Alliance, the
The
Scrum
Scrum Alliance.
Alliance.
So what are your thoughts, Phil? Do you want to kick this one off?
Yeah, let's talk about what an alliance really is.
Mhm.
An alliance is not a monopoly.
Mhm.
An alliance should be, according to Webster's dictionary, a union by relationship in qualities. The word affinity also comes to mind, a bond or connection between families, states, parties, individuals, and it seems rather friendly, right? I mean,
It should
anyone who
be.
fits in the alliance should be able to be in the alliance at any
Absolutely.
level, right, Roy? What do you think?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, so it should be it should be a friendly space where people can learn. And so the Scrum Alliance does do a lot of that. There's lots of great programs to learn and opportunities to volunteer and learn from others that have been in the industry for a long time. So it does serve those. So their conferences can be a lot of fun, things like that. But let's face facts for what the Scrum Alliance is. And the Scrum Alliance is a certification body, and that is a business. All right, so
It's a
there,
business.
nothing wrong with being a business, nothing wrong with making money. It's every business or most businesses anyway are in for the purpose of making money. Nothing wrong with that. But the Scrum Alliance has gotten pretty good at that, and they've come into some controversy lately. Actually, quite a bit of controversy lately
Mm,
related to some legal issues, but we'll talk about that in maybe another time.
mm.
This one is the controversy I'm talking about is more how they've divided up their certifications. It started out pretty simple, where they had the CSM, the Certified Scrum Master, Certified Scrum Product Owner. The CSP was the next level up. It was a pretty straightforward, and
Mm-hmm.
understandably, they changed their certifications a little bit over time, as you should.
Mm-hmm.
That's good to
Yeah.
hopefully to improve them. But recently, over the past couple of years, they've split the CSM into a baseline, a basic CSM, and then a CSM advanced. And only a certain group of people can
Now,
teach
let's
the.
be fair, Roy. Wouldn't you say that they've split it into the minimum viable product a few times? They've got like
They
three
they
minimum
they they
viable
tend to
products
keep
out of one.
splitting it and splitting it and splitting it, and and I guess it's okay, it's fine.
Okay.
Certifications are good. It's good to have those letters behind your name. I have a bunch of letters after my name, of course, but as it just seems like maybe there's a little few too many certifications. Just saying.
Let's be really perfectly honest. I mean, you
Yeah.
become a scrum master, you practice, right? You gain knowledge, you gain experience, you gain a broader understanding, the T-shaped scales
Yep.
concept, broad and deep. And that's what I would have expected, broad and deep and keep going. But is there really a need to splinter it further is the question. And
Yeah.
honestly, when I saw it being splintered, I decided I wasn't going to sign up for it because I really could not justify it. And
Absolutely.
to borrow a few things from people who, the co-creators of Scrum, to be quite honest, they
Hmm.
often talk about it being easy to document, but hard to implement. And I
Yeah.
really subscribe to that. I think more should be done with people's quest to learn and quest to implement and quest to do organically rather than cranking out another certification immediately. People think that they're levels above because of the difference of a letter A. I think is it CSMA? What is it?
CSMA, CSPOA, absolutely. Yeah.
I do not think it is in the best interest of the certificate. But then again, we're talking about it's a business, just like you said.
Absolutely. And they also
So,
splintered the next level up, which is the CSP, the Certified Scrum Professional. So that
oh
also
dear,
now is the
really?
CSP SM and this CSP PO. They
I did
split it
not
even
know that.
further.
So what are the differences there? CSPA or CSP what?
CSPO and CSP, CSPPO and CSP SM. So there's a
Wow.
path for Scrum Masters and a path for product owners. In the past, the product owner and the Scrum Master converged on the Certified Scrum Professional, the CSP,
Mm.
and now they've split it. Now, I guess it does make some logical sense to split by role, but there's also a pretty good feeling in the industry that the reason they split it was now there's 2 certifications, right? So double your money. Now,
Yeah,
I was fortunate enough. I already had my CSP before that, so I got
that's
grandfathered
right.
in. I was happy because I did not want to pay twice. I was really not looking forward to that. To a certain extent, you get to a certain level in Agile. It's whether you're a product owner or a Scrum Master. It's about Agile and not as much about the role. So you really question how far really should we go with these splintering of certifications based.
Exactly. I think at the CSP level, you need to be a grandmaster in your own right of
Yeah.
everything,
Yep.
not splintering, because splintering is only going to add confusion and take focus off.
Mm-hmm.
I think focus should be broad. You should have the scrum master, we should have the product owner, we should have a really solid understanding at the CSP level. I would have expected that rather than specialisms. I mean, it just goes off into a tangent and it becomes unwieldy and hard to manage. So someone who wants to really have a good understanding of CSP, are you telling me they'll do a CSP for the product owner, a CSP for the scrum master? I mean,
Absolutely. And you have to go through the 3 channels. So CSM, CSMA, and then CSPSM to get that high level certification. And at some point in time, you start questioning, where's the value in getting that certification? You're not necessarily getting much for it anymore.
mhm,
And I have it. I like having that CSP. I studied hard to be able to get that
for
back when there was
sure.
a really difficult test. They kind of changed that process as well. But you just kind of question over time, what are you really getting for that kind of a certification? Now, letters are always good, for your resume.
Yeah,
But what are you learning? What value to get out of these things? So I
exactly.
question it.
Exactly. And, I would have liked to go to the site and take a look at the syllabus. Maybe we could do that on a different day. But for
Mm-hmm.
those who have not been to the site, I'll just beam it up really quick so people know where it's at. So this is Scrum Alliance. Okay. And like we've been talking about, you got the broad categories of CSM and CSPO. But beyond this, there are factions and splinters. And what Roy and I are saying is we don't think those splinters are absolutely necessary. Now, you
Absolutely.
might have a different opinion, but that's
Mm-hmm.
just what we think. And we think people who have already gotten the certification should just stick there. And, I will not be going for the CSMA, I will
Mm-hmm.
not be going for it because I believe it's
Yeah.
all in the implementation and beefing up your skills, not just more knowledge. Let's be honest. If you go to the Scrum Guide, Roy, how many pages is that thing? I mean,
It's like 18, 19 pages, something like that. It's pretty thin. So and I always thought that was really kind of entertaining. The CSM is a fairly expensive course. It's a pretty good license fee. It can only be taught by certified Scrum trainers, and these are
mm,
folks that work for, guess what, Scrum Alliance, right? They are all certified by the Scrum Alliance, and they are also the approvers of new CSTs. So
mm,
you get an idea here, right? Very captive audience.
yeah,
And So they're the only ones that are allowed to let these folks go through. And I always thought it was entertaining that the CSM and the CSPO, while they're great certifications, very widely recognized,
yeah.
it's an 18, 19 page book. That's what that course is all about. So of course the trainer can give you great content based on their experience. I'm not knocking the CSTs. They're very educated people and they can give you some great training, but it's a very introductory course and highly
Hmm.
protected.
Yeah,
So it just seems maybe a little bit odd. You can read the Scrum
yeah,
Guide. It's pretty straightforward. Read some good books. Get the certification for your resume. All right.
yeah.
Great stuff for that. You get the idea, right? Maybe a little too
Absolutely.
much, a little
Yeah.
too deep on the certifications. Yeah.
Yeah. And, what I normally recommend to people, because we have two types of bodies, Roy. We have the bodies that certify you,
Mm-hmm.
and then we have the bodies that certify you and kind of educate you. So
Yeah.
the piece I like about the Scrum Alliance versus PMI,
Mm-hmm.
they educate you based on their group. And this is
Yeah.
where PMI is trying to go.
Mm-hmm.
Let's leave that for another day.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's the whole topic all on its own.
Oh dear, that's all kind of worms and dessert to go with it from
Yeah.
the bottom of who knows where. But taking a look at the Scrum Alliance,
Hmm.
The piece that I think they started and PMI is trying to mimic is having a syllabus well cut out. They're trying to protect it in some
Of
ways
course.
for good and not so good reasons, perhaps, who knows. But I like the fact that you kind of almost know what to expect. And like you said, zero experience, bad experience means bad training or not
Yep.
enough or not being pragmatic. There's some people that have tons of, I don't know, degrees and certifications, but they cannot pragmatize what they teach. So it's
Yeah.
not always about being a label or being a certificate holder. That means you're going to be able to disperse the information correctly. And I
Yeah.
hear that in what you're saying. Just because you're a CST does not mean that you will deliver training on par with someone who has a ton more experience in the real world,
Hmm.
of transforming teams, not just training
Exactly.
at this point, but
My
transformation.
suggestion is, if you're going for certifications, they are valuable, of course, for your career. They show up on LinkedIn and things like that. So it's really good to have those certifications to help your career out. No denying that. But don't just go for the certification, go for the trainer. All right. So be
Absolutely.
selective for who you want, get references. Don't just pick somebody because they're in your area, especially right
Mm,
now. All this stuff is virtual, right? So you could pick and choose your trainer at this point. So pick
true.
one that's well referred and go for the training. The
Mhm.
certification is secondary, right?
True. And Roy, let's jump on that one because that's another one where I would go at them again because
Mhm.
it amuses me when before COVID hit, the order of the day was you must be in a class. You cannot do this online. Oh, it is
Yeah.
absolutely forbidden to train online.
Yep.
Now,
All of a
so
sudden,
what
oh,
was
sure, we
that?
can train online.
Oh, no problem. We'll sign you up right now. What was all that about? So after all that
Yeah.
fuss, we realized, oh, we actually can train the CSM online. You know what I,
Well, what I found always funny about that is that, you and I have been training forever, right? We've trained
yeah,
online all the time. It's really
exactly.
not big a deal. Do I prefer
Exactly.
in-person training because you get, better visuals. It's a lot more fun.
Hmm.
But you can train online
Yeah.
and it's a basic. This is a 101 course. So
Hmm.
why couldn't you train online? It would have reduced costs. It would have made it easier.
Exactly. Oh,
And I have some, this is Roy's opinion. There's no facts on this whatsoever. I have a feeling it was really about trying to regionalize
ah,
those certifications, the
mm,
trainers, because different trainers are in different parts of the world. And
hmm.
by forcing you to go to a class, most people will go to somewhere close, right? So
Yeah.
it kind of regionalizes the,
Business
the,
plan,
the it's a business plan. It's
business
a business.
strategy, business, and
Yeah.
to jump on the wagon of the PMI as well. The PMP exam has forever been done in test centers, and everyone think, oh, it's this mysterious arcane art of the PMP. You have to go into a test center to do it.
Yep.
What happened when COVID hit? The moment COVID hit, oh, we need to get you into the PMP exam in your living room. And
Yep.
they did it within a month. So, I mean, not that I don't appreciate it, I do, but it shows inclinations and motivations for doing these things.
It's about living to your values, right? If your values
Mm.
are absolutely have to be in a test center, absolutely have to be in person to preserve the integrity, and then all of a sudden, wait a minute, now we have no business. So let's ignore those values and let's go off and now I think it's the right thing to do anyway. I mean, I always thought
Hmm.
it was kind of silly,
Oh yeah,
but
yeah.
it's maybe, may I use the hypocritical word? It's a little bit hypocritical, just saying.
Absolutely. Well, remember, we bring it to you raw and unfiltered and uncut. So if you've enjoyed this, my friends, share it with your buddies. You got buddies that are CSTs, CSM, CSPs. Share it with all of them. Anyone that wants to know more about Agile and hear about a raw and unfiltered perspective, you need to share this with them. So from me, it's bye for now. And from Roy,
Take care. Thanks, everyone.